this seed nutrition in 2011. So he very, very familiar with all this seed nutrition, and he been helping a lot of people of different type of diseases, and he also have a lot of testimonial. Okay, so without further delay, I would like to share this screen to everyone, and I hope that you all can see on the screen.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so let me, without further delay, let me introduce Dr. Jerry Chi to everyone. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, of course.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to jump straight into the topic. Many people who are exposed the first time to seed nutrition will always ask me, what makes SoPlus special? What's so different? What's so unique? Basically, many of us are quite familiar with the power of certain seeds. For example, some of you may use flax seeds, some of you may use chia seeds, and these are all well-known seeds, even sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, for health reasons. Now, as you know, seeds are vital. It's a vital source of life for the plant kingdom. And without plants, we won't have humans. So that's how important it is. The other important thing about seeds is the nutrient power that it contains is very much concentrated, because seeds are small, but it's a nutrient powerhouse. And you have to eat a lot of fruits to achieve the balance of nutrients that is available in the seeds. And because without the seeds being protected and having all the DNA for life, plants will not be able to transfer and continue their life. So let's move to the first slide. Let me try this. Oops. Or is it this way? Okay. So what is SoPlus? SoPlus basically is a product combining 4 types of seeds together with 2 other special ingredients. It is a very special product created out of research from the University of Minnesota initially by a team of doctors and scientists led by Mr. Mark Muller. And they were able to patent the copyright of the blend of seeds and show that it is such a nutrient powerhouse that it surpasses anything else that are fruit-based. Now, it is also vegan, because obviously there's no animal products in it, there's no dairy products. Now, many of us are aware already of the power of taking antioxidants. So many of us take different vitamins, eat a lot of fruits, because we know that our body needs healthy antioxidants. I won't go into the details, but many supplements out there that contains antioxidants may not be totally natural. If you take a multivitamin tablet, pill, powder, or whatever it is, chances are it is highly processed, extracted, concentrated, so not really that bioavailable for your body. Then many of us also knows the importance of oils, especially if you have a heart problem. Your doctor will recommend you to take things like fish oil. So many of us knows that olive oil is good. Certain cold pressed oils are good. Nowadays, virgin coconut oil is becoming popular. Hemp oil is very important. Avocado oil. So basically, we know about antioxidants, we know about oils. But this is one of the first products in the world that is really a 2-in-1. Because for seeds to proliferate, they need to have oils and they need to have antioxidants. So by taking a seed-based nutrition, you're in a way getting the 2-in-1 effect. You have both antioxidants and you have oils. So you don't have to take 2 separate products, which may be highly processed. Now, the distinction that I want to make today is not all antioxidants are created equal. For example, vitamin A is an antioxidant, vitamin C is an antioxidant, vitamin E. They're all different classes of antioxidants. But what we really need in our body is something called broad spectrum antioxidants. These are antioxidants that protect Earth from all aspects of oxidation. That is why it's called broad spectrum. So if you take ascorbic acid, which is basically a chemically derived vitamin C pill, you are taking an isolated narrow spectrum antioxidant. The effect on you is slightly different because we all have different lifestyle. Some of us smoke, some of us drink, some of us have late nights, some of us have stressful jobs. So only a broad spectrum antioxidants is good enough to cover all aspects of our lifestyle. So if you want to know more about antioxidants, I will come up to it later in a slide to talk precisely what is broad spectrum. The second thing is the oil. We need to have a good source of essential fatty acids. That's what EFA is. Essential fatty acids are like omega-3 and 6, which our body cannot produce. We need to ingest it through the foods that we eat. Of course, omega-3 is found in some oily fish. It's also found in certain seeds. And most seeds have some amount of omega-3, but they vary. Like cranberry seeds is a pretty high source. And omega-6 is usually derived from vegetable-based oils. But once you heat up the omega-3 and 6, it gets destroyed. A lot of the efficacy gets destroyed. So it's very important that these kind of seeds must be cold pressed, because only through the process of cold press we are able to derive the maximum benefit so that such omega oils do not get destroyed. Polyunsaturated oils, which is what omega-3 and 6 is, it's an essential fatty acid, but they are easily destroyed by heat and light. So it is very important that if you want to get the benefit out of it, it has to be in a cold press form. Now, the reason why we have 4 seeds is also to take advantage of what we call food synergy. The combination of the 4 seeds is a lot more powerful than the individual seed. Those of you who drink may know, if you mix beer with wine, with whiskey, and you drink it all together, you get drunk very fast. So basically, there is a multiplication of nutrient power when you combine the seeds. So the SoPlus product has been balanced such that the 4 seeds work synergistically together in the right proportion. So your body can get the balance of the broad spectrum antioxidants and the essential fatty acids. All right. Now, many questions have been asked about fish oil and their popularity, but I would suggest that all of you Google fish oil and the Harvard study on prostate cancer. Basically, to me, a fish oil pill is also a highly processed product. It goes through a very detailed process involving 20 over steps, including distillation, deodorization, to make it palatable. So by the time when you get the fish oil pill, it is no longer similar to the oil that is found in a fish. So as a result, when you take a fish oil pill, you are actually taking processed food. So you have to bear that in mind. So please look at the research from Harvard on the study of fish oil. Now, to complete the Axxa SoPlus product, we have 2 more very powerful ingredients. One is trans resveratrol, which I will explain more later, and D-ribose. Now, to put all these ingredients together in a packaging that is oxidation-free, we have a very advanced packaging in the form of a sachet. This is a 5-layer packaging used by travelers in outer space to preserve and keep their food fresh. So you can be assured that the Soul Plus will retain its maximum nutrients. I'll move on to the next slide. We spoke about oil and the importance of oil. Many people are surprised when I encourage them to consume more oil because we are brought up to think that oil is bad for us. In a way, that is true because the oil that you consume from the supermarket are pretty much processed oil. It has gone through a fantastic processing so that by the time you heat it up and you use it in your kitchen, the oil contains a lot of carcinogenic chemicals, which is really bad for you. What we really need are oils that are in its natural state. And why do we need oil? As you can see, our whole body is made up of a lot of oil. Our brain, our skin, for all the hormones in our body, we need good oils. And cholesterol is the only oil that our body can produce by itself. So when you lack the necessary oil, your body will try to protect and defend you by manufacturing more oil. So therefore, you will have high level of cholesterol. And that's where people get confused because they think that by having high cholesterol, I should stop consumption of oil. The key is consuming the right oils, the good oil, not the bad one. Most importantly, each cell in our body needs oil because we have a cell membrane that surrounds each cell. And just like our skin, this membrane allows nutrients, oxygens to nourish each cell. And at the same time, the waste material can cross the cell membrane to be excreted. Now, if you have a cell membrane that is badly oxidized, dysfunctional, you will start having what we call the Warburg effect, which is a drop in the oxygen level in the cells. And that is the beginning of a cancerous cell because most cancer cells do not require oxygen. Now, for the oxygen that you breathe in to reach certain cells, you have to cross many membranes from the lungs to the bloodstream, and from the blood, it transfers through your hemoglobin to your red blood cells into your different cells in your body. So it is like a multi-relay race. There's no pipe that connects your oxygen to a working cell. It has to cross many membranes to reach its final target. On average, you need to cross 7 membranes. So by doing that, if every membrane is dysfunctional or having an oxidation problem, then you can imagine the drop in oxygen that reaches the final destination. So that is why the health of our cell membrane is exceptionally important. Now for the Soul Plus product, Mark Muller and his team of doctors, Dr. Cohen, Dr. Leonard, they've come up with a patented blend of the 2 oils containing the black cumin seed oil and the black raspberry oil. That was after years of research done by them. This is the actual ingredient list that we have for the Soul Plus product. We have the 4 seeds, the black cumin seed, the black raspberry seed, the red grape seed, the cranberry seed, and as I mentioned, we have the trans resveratrol, and we have the D-ribose. There are 7 patented benefits that has been patented by different researchers. Obviously, you can see that they have proven results from the combination of seeds. We have diabetes, immune function, viral infection, psoriasis, skin, asthma, allergy, cancer, and urinary inflammation. I just spent a minute to talk about resveratrol because many of you know that it is found in red wine. So a lot of people tell you that obviously drinking red wine is a healthier alternative because it contains resveratrol. That's true. All grapes, including the skin and the stem and the seeds, all contains high level of resveratrol. And it's a very powerful antioxidant. It also can activate some of your longevity gene. So drinking a glass or 2 of red wine is helpful for you. But at the same time, most red wine, of course, all red wines have some alcohol, and also most red wines contain some sulfites. and some cheaper red wines have added sulfites, like a preservative. So the sulfite and the alcohol obviously is bad for you. So that can negate some of the benefits that you have. Now, the resveratrol that is in Soplus is in the trans form. The trans form of resveratrol is the one that is bioavailable, that our body can use and absorb. So be very careful when you look at resveratrol, because a lot of products use the cis form, CIS, because that's the cheaper form. Your body has to convert it from the cis to the trans before it can use it. And that conversion is not very efficient. So in the Axxa Soplus product, we use the trans version of the resveratrol. Various studies have shown that it activates the SIRT1 anti-aging gene, which improves our longevity. So there's a belief that taking resveratrol, especially through the trans form, will enhance your longevity. Okay, it also improves your cellular productivity via something called the AMPK pathway. This is an enzyme that promotes anti-aging for you. If you're interested, I won't go into the detail today. I may do that on another talk, but you can Google and look at it, all right? It also has anti-inflammatory capabilities because our inflammation is caused by something called the COX-1 and COX-2 inflammatory enzymes. So when you can block that or inhibit it, it has a lot of anti-inflammation benefits. Resveratrol has also been researched to show chemopreventive agents, anti-carcinogenic, and helps with weight loss too. It is a key ingredient in our cellular mitochondrial function, which is the energy source of each and every cell. So taking this will obviously enhance your energy level and your ability to perform aerobically, for example, as for exercise and for the quick recovery from exercise. So in the Soplus product, you have the 4 seeds, plus you have the added benefit of having this super power trans resveratrol. On top of all that, we have a 6th ingredient, which is called D-ribose. D-ribose is something that exists in our body. It is the essential carbohydrate that has the capability to regenerate our ATP, which is really the energy source that each and every one of our cells need. The sugar, carbohydrate, and the food that we consume needs to be converted into ATP before it is readily available. So as we age, and depending on our lifestyle and diet, our availability of D-ribose will drop. So therefore, by having the D-ribose in our product, many people will feel the increased energy, especially on the cardiovascular side. You will find very fast recovery for people who work out. And it's also important that we have the D-ribose so that our sugar control is well maintained. So D-ribose actually helps to utilize the excess sugar that is in our body that is not capable of being converted into ATP, all right? So if you Google D-ribose, you will find all the research papers that's been done on it, okay? Earlier, I mentioned broad spectrum antioxidants. So the only way to measure it as a broad spectrum is we want to measure how broad it is. Now, the only available test that exists today is at Brunswick Lab, which is an FDA certified laboratory in the US, whereby we can measure the spectrum of an antioxidant. So therefore, the Axxa Soplus product is the first product certified as ORAC 6.0. What that means is there are 6 types of oxidation that happens in your body. And this is the product that can protect you against all 6 forms of oxidation. It's like having 6 doors in your house and putting an alarm on each door. You wouldn't put only on 5 doors in case the 6th door is not protected. So if you take certain vitamins that are not rated ORAC 6.0, you may think that you are fully protected, but you are not, because they are not broad spectrum. So a truly broad spectrum antioxidant will be rated ORAC 6.0. ORAC stands for oxygen radical absorption capability. So therefore, we need to see this rating. At the same time, we also measure the value, the inherent value. So each packet or each sachet of the SoPlus product has 19,920 in terms of equivalent antioxidation value. So this is a very powerful product that we should take daily to ensure that we are fully protected against all the ravages and all the destruction of environmental oxidation, as well as metabolic oxidation, as well as stress oxidation. So all these things creates damage to our body, especially at the cellular level. So you got to be sure that you take something that is broad spectrum. But it also has to be very natural, because you can inject and create synthetic vitamins and make it into a multivitamin product that can meet all the ORAC 6.0. But then you create another problem, because those synthetic vitamins or highly processed vitamins may not be that bioavailable. And in the long run, it may damage your kidney, your liver, because your body will treat it like a chemical toxin and it will try to eliminate it. So therefore, you can see that your urine will get very yellow and very golden when you consume such vitamins. So you need a product that is a wholesome food and that is food-based. I will just cover a few more interesting things that is unique about our SoPlus product. It has been proven by research that the black cumin seed, which is one of the main seeds in our product, has the ability to switch on our anti-cancer defense mechanism. It was discovered that inside the black cumin seed oil, there's a component called thymoquinone, which we call TQ for short. It has the ability to switch on our p53 tumor suppressor gene. This research was done at a couple of universities. One of them was Thomas Jefferson. And they even studied it in combination with certain chemo drugs for cancer. And they found that in combination with certain chemo drugs, it produces a greater therapeutic effect. All right. So this is a very powerful ingredient, and it shows the power of the black cumin seed. This is a chart showing the p53 mechanism, and it is a key player in protecting us against cancer. It's an important tumor suppressor gene. More than half of all human cancers depend on the p53 mechanism. So when you have family members that have the same cancer, like breast cancer throughout the family, so they may have a defect in their p53 anti-cancer genes. This is another slide. I won't go into the detail, but what suppresses our p53 and doesn't allow our anti-cancer mechanism to switch on is due to a lot of stress inputs, whether it's stress due to translational DNA damage, viral infection, certain things that affects the performance of the p53 and causes the gene to be switched off. So through the black cumin seed oil component of thymoquinone, it was shown that we have the capability to switch back on the p53 gene. It's like your room has all the light bulbs, but the switch doesn't work. So it's no point having all the light bulbs when your switch doesn't work, right? So that's a comparison. Now, who are the people behind all these signs? We have here the 4 key players for Axxa Global. Mark Muller, who is also known as the father of seed oil nutrition, because he started the research into using seeds as a component for health. And then his partner, Dr. Tok Muzai, who is on the board of his company, he's a plastic surgeon who uses natural means for his patients to recover. Because the problem with plastic surgery is always the recovery, because you're going to cut here and there, and you want your skin and your body to stay healthy and recover nicely. So therefore, he uses a lot of natural seed products. I mentioned D-ribose, and here on our scientific board, we have Dr. John Sincere. He is a leading expert in the use of D-ribose. He's a heart surgeon, and D-ribose was originally used for his heart patients. He has numerous patents. He has published a lot of papers. You can Google him, and he's a top doctor in the use of D-ribose. Dr. Charles Mascoplat, who is a professor of nutrition at University of Minnesota. I have interviewed him a couple of times. I've met the gentleman, nice guy. He also has published many research publications, especially in the field of epigenetics and nutrigenomics. Now, what I'm trying to say is when you approach a regular medical doctor and they can't explain your problem, they will always blame it on the genes, right? Because that's the easiest way to escape from answering the root cause. If you go in and say that you've got this disease and all that and all, so the first word they always like to say, oh, I'm sorry, it's genetic. So with that, having said that, the doctor washes his hands from responsibility. Now, Dr. Charles Mascoplat studies the effect of epigenetics, whereby it is proven that what you eat and what your children eat and all those can actually affect genetic changes in your body. So even though it is genetic based, you have a way to alter your genetic profile. It is not immediate like taking a drug, but through lifestyle changes, through dietary changes, we have the ability to affect the health of our body, even though it could be a genetically affected disease. So therefore, Dr. Charles Mascoplat is a leading expert in the research in this field. That's about 30 minutes. I promise everybody that I will speak not more than 30 minutes. And I just wanted to give a total picture of what makes the product so special. I hope I was able to give you a little appetizer. Now, each topic that I covered, obviously, we can go into very much details, but I will leave it to the questions for some of you to address that. And thank you very much. And have the, oh.
You just ask them.
Oh, okay.
Can you tell this Iswan Chukar to unmute everybody for any question?
Okay. Iswan, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, of course. Hi, Jerry.
Yeah. I'm not sure how this thing works, but I think you can unmute everybody so that if there's a question, I will be able to address it.
Okay. So, hogyha van kérdésetek, akkor azt nyugodtan fel tudjátok most tenni, akár így szóban, akár a chaten, hogyha írtok, akkor bekapcsolom és akkor meg tudjátok kérdezni tőlük. Jerry?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can read the questions in the chat panel.
Oh, really? You're going to type a question?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
From Eddie, I'm wondering the routine about surplus and MS
Hold on.
multiples.
From Jolt is the first.
Oh, George first. Okay, just a minute. Dr. Jerry is taking something. I think Dr. Jerry, the first one was from Zord.
So there are two questions.
Yeah, two questions. The first question was, Zord, 50 years old, male friends suffer from malnutrition. You have to ask how much Toplas can consume and does he need other supplement? Just a minute. Can anybody still hear?
Yeah, yes. Now, yes. Earlier,
okay.
It's now it's good.
Just a minute because okay. Dr. Jerry is actually doing something and then he's answering.
Okay, let me answer the second question first.
Oh, the second one.
Let's
From
talk about MS because
multiple sclerosis.
in fact, last year, I just gave a talk to the society here, about 200 people, the MS society here, and I was the leading speaker, and we did a very good presentation. The reason I'm tackling this question first is because it relates to autoimmune. Now, there are 100 over diseases that are considered autoimmune caused. This is another general reason that is given when your immune system goes out of whack. For example, you may have HIV, you have lupus, you have Crohn's disease. There are many, many diseases that general medicine cannot cure, and it falls into the category of autoimmune. Now, what that means is your immune system doesn't work the way it should. In the case of multiple sclerosis, basically it is attacking your nerve cover, which is we call the nerve sheath. So when your central nervous system gets attacked by yourself, obviously you will have a lot of problems. So, and as the disease progresses, you will find that you lose control over your central nervous system and you end up in a wheelchair and things like that. Now, I want to talk about general. The first thing we have to understand about all this autoimmune disease is we need to regulate back our immune system, right? Our immune system exists to take care of viruses or any foreign pathogens that attack our body. But now, when you have autoimmune, it even attacks healthy cells, it attacks healthy nerve systems. So it creates something called autoimmune. Now, it happens because many times your body is confused. Your body is confused because we keep consuming foods and we keep doing things that bring a lot of toxins and unwanted things into our body. Okay, so when your body cannot differentiate between what is good and what is bad, and if you keep consuming bad things, it will think that it's a good thing. And when you consume good things, they will think it's a bad thing, right? So it is very confused. So therefore, my advice always is try to take the guessing game out of it. So when you have something like MS or any autoimmune disease, my first advice to all these people is to have their blood tested for any food and allergy intolerance. Now, there's a difference. An allergy, you can see the symptoms very fast. If you're allergic to something, you will get a rash immediately. An intolerance is something more hidden. You may not feel it for years before it appears, and then you don't know what happened. Okay? So it is very important that from the makeup of your DNA on your blood, you may have certain intolerance to certain foods. Why? Because those foods can trigger your immune system. So if you go and take drugs, basically you will take an immune suppressor drug, which shuts down your immune. But if you take the wrong supplement, it may boost your immune system. And here you have an overactive immune system. And if you take a booster, it's going to make it even worse. So you have to be very careful and you have to take the guesswork out of it. So what you do is, I have sent many patients to do the test. You can test for thousands of food. I give a very good example of one person. We all think that oats are good for you, right? We take oats. We are encouraged to eat healthy oats. Now, for most people, oats can be healthy. But for some sufferers, they may have a trigger caused by the chemicals that are found in oats, of course, including gluten and things like that. So you never know. Something that may seem healthy could be the cause of your problems. So the only way to be sure is to do a blood test to identify the food that you have an intolerance to. Foods that will trigger your immune response. and you can get it in America, you can get it in Europe. I think it costs about $500 US, but you take away the guesswork. It's worth the money to know exactly where you stand. So once you have that list of thousands of foods, you should know what you can eat, what you cannot eat. So once you avoid all the triggers, you are on your first step towards the recovery. Okay? Now that is what I would encourage people to do. Now, as far as using Soplus, of course, Soplus is a natural product. It doesn't have the chemicals that are known to trigger. You can, for people with MS, I would suggest that they start with just one a day for about a week to see the results. If they have no adverse reaction, then they can continue to 2, 3, and 4 packets a day. And we have a few people who have been using it and they found that it's good. But as I want to repeat again, please spend the money to have a little check on yourself to see what you can and cannot eat, because that is most important for your immune system. A lot of us do not know, so we take supplements that boost the immune system, which is wrong. Okay? Thank you very much. Let me go back to the...
I think the one is one is you have a friend.
No, go back to the first question.
Yeah.
You how much also can he go, and does he need other supplements? Okay, for myelofascia cervical, I think Soplus would be very good for him. He should try to take 4 a day, as much as he can. Then again, at the same time, does he need any other supplements? Well, in the first place, I'm not sure what other supplements is important, but I think food-wise, he should take more things like turmeric. He should take things more like a virgin coconut oil, or even hemp oil, or even avocado oil. Take 1 or 2 tablespoons a day, and I think that will be very helpful for him. Okay, next question. Oh, we're getting a lot of questions. I cannot hear.
You can hear.
Never mind, we record.
Okay.
Next one. Okay.
Another good friend of mine.
A good friend.
No, this one Lazo. Does Soplus help to rebuild joint injury, recover joint liquid?
Okay, for people with joint pain, if you have rheumatoid arthritis, that's also a form of autoimmune. And I already explained that when I explained the MS. Now, you have to understand, joint pain is also a mechanical issue, right? Because overuse of the, like you said, the membrane, overuse of the meniscus in the knee, things like that. Now, one of the ways that Soplus help is through the oil, but you need more than that, okay? Soplus will help to reduce the inflammation around the joint that causes the pain, all the nerves, all the ligaments. You can drink 4 a day, and you can also apply around the joint. But at the same time, I think it's important that that person take more collagen, right? You can get different collagen products, but you can eat it from food, you know, fish skin and underwater sea products. These are all strong collagen products, which will be helpful for them. And obviously, you should also continue with a high dosage of glucosamine and chondroitin, which can be helpful. And it is also important to use things like heat treatment, massage, and basically also exercise the joint to make sure it can recover. Now, a lot of this is due to inflammation. When you have inflammation, then Soplus will help very much. But if it is a mechanical problem, like if you've been playing sports for many years and suddenly your meniscus is all worn out, then to help with the lubrication, you need to consume a lot more oil. You can consume more olive oil, virgin coconut oil, hemp oil, avocado oil. These are the good oils that you can take. Okay, another question is, a very fair one who has tilted by doctors to consume, is having cervical cell lesion in her womb.
a very good friend of mine who was tutored by a doctor to consume any oil for months. I think he meant tutored is that maybe the doctor
Don't encourage.
don't encourage him to
Okay.
take oil
Because of the
because of
hormones,
having
yeah.
cervical cell lesion in her
Lesion,
womb,
yeah, yeah.
in her womb.
Yeah.
So she actually very afraid of taking Soplus. I know her problem.
Okay.
So how to advise that this Soplus actually is good
for someone like that, we of course I understand because of the hormonal effect and the estrogenic effect, we also do not encourage her to consume huge amounts of oil, but she can start with 2 packets of Soplus, which doesn't contain that much oil. And don't forget, the oil is also in a form where it's very different from traditional oil because it is already emulsified in a certain way that it can be absorbed. So I would encourage her to take not more than 2 packets a day, and it will be beneficial for her because it will balance back her hormones and it will help her with her cell lesion. All right. Next question.
Okay. This is the question.
Steph,
is there a maximum you should take on a day? What happens if not much?
Too much.
Yeah.
In terms of the quantity of Soplus to consume, a lot depends on your current health situation, your age, whether you smoke, whether you drink, whether you have a stressful job. Because obviously, if you're healthy and you maintain a very healthy diet, you do not want to overdo it. So the average of 2 packets a day is the average for most general people. But if you suffer from certain diseases, then you have to use Soplus as a meal replacement. So basically, instead of eating bad food, you should take Soplus like a food. So people with cancer and other serious diseases will need to take up to 10 sachets per day, 5 times a day, and every time 2 or 3 packets. Because it is a wholesome food, it has all the nutrients, it is better than you eating any other food. So therefore, you cut down on eating unnecessary food, and then you take this plus together with a lot of nutritious food to bring back your diet. So the general rule of thumb is if you're a child below school age, you may take half a packet. But once you start going to school, you can take 1. For the general adult who is reasonably healthy, we can take 2. I start with 2, and when I have a stressful day or when Kevin give me a lot of stress, then I'll take 1 extra packet. Or if you have a late night and you've been out drinking and going to a bar that has a lot of smoke, then you may want to take 1 extra packet before you go. So this is how you balance it, because it is not a medicine where you prescribe a certain dosage. This is a whole food that even if you do take too much, it doesn't have any side effect.
I read somewhere that actually Soplus good for nose bleeding, especially for kids.
Yes, but sometimes one of the healing crises is you may get temporarily nosebleed when you consume the Soplus. That has happened before. Now, there are many reasons for nosebleed. Don't forget that our body is designed to protect itself. When we have a fever, of course, we know that there's something wrong with us, but the fever actually kills the virus because of the high temperature. So it's our body's defense system, but we cannot let it go too high, because once it reaches a very, very high level, it will start killing the good cells. So controlled fever is necessary. Just like when you have a rash or when you have a breakout of the skin, when you take certain good supplements, that's something called a healing crisis. Nosebleed is the same, right? So you need to let the body bleed sometimes, but you want to control it so that there's no excessive bleeding. And obviously you can lie down, put some ice on the head, and to control the bleeding. And Soplus will help to regulate the nutrients in the blood that causes the blood to be not so thin, and the capillaries to be not so thin that you especially get the nosebleed. So it's also, nosebleed in kids is also a form of inflammation. And as you know, Soplus is very anti-inflammatory. Okay, very good questions. I appreciate that very much. And I hope next time we will cover another topic.
Dr. Jerry, as far as I know, there is no solution infection of liver, example HPV. Could Soplus benefactory destroying these viruses? They are considered impossible.
Okay, actually, to answer your question, there's a question here on the HPV and similar type of viruses. Always remember this: we all carry viruses in our body. We carry viruses that are dormant. For example, if you get measles and things like that, the viruses are still there. But when your immune system is well balanced, well regulated, and everything is working well, these viruses do not have a chance to surface. So it's not about destroying the viruses, because you are right. Some herpes viruses and things like that are in our body. They are just waiting for the right condition, or we can say the wrong condition, for these viruses to surface. So the solution is not so much as killing the virus, which we think we want to do, but maintaining the health function of your body so that these viruses are well controlled. And that is very important. Even cancer is the same, right? You can imagine cancer is like a form of a fungus. If you have a fungus in your body, a fungi like an athlete's foot or things like that, it doesn't really go away. When the condition is right, you have a sweat and things like that, it will come back again. So our body is full of viruses, fungus, and things like that, even cancer. But if your immune system is well regulated, you know how to control it through proper lifestyle, diet, sunlight, exercise, and breathing, then that is the answer to how you control such infections. All right? Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice day. It's going to start raining here in Penang, so we want to move on. But I look forward to, if any of you have other questions after this, please send me an email. I try to reply within 48 hours, and as much as possible. But if I'm on the road or traveling, I may not be able to answer as quick as possible. But please email me if you have any other questions. Thank you so much, and have a nice evening or nice day for all of you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Jerry, and thanks for listening. It will end for our today presentation. And here what we're going to do, every week we're going to have an alternative. This week we are talking about the product, and Dr. Jerry and myself. And next week we'll come back to the marketing plan again. And also next week I'll be talking about the new marketing plan that's going to be implemented on 2nd of May, the Accelerate extra bonus, which is we get extra money. And at the same time also, I also invite Thomas, our platinum, our first platinum in Europe, to share his MLM journey. Okay, so thanks again for everybody participating globally. We see some leader from Asia, we see some leader from Europe, and also we see some leader from US as well at the middle of the night. And also thanks to Iswan Chuka for hosting this important webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you a lot.